Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the RDA Central West Business Leaders Breakfast Series. And I'm really excited. I'd even say I'm up and about for this one. I'm sitting down with the CEO of local software developing company Phocas, Phil Dodds. Phil, welcome to breakfast.
Thank you.
Great to have you on board. Now, as I said at the top, Phocas, it's a fantastic local business success story. And before I started in this role and moved to Orange, I wasn't aware of Phocas and the great stuff that you guys are doing. And there's probably a lot of our viewers this morning that might not be aware, I guess, of the great, the Phocas story. Do you mind giving our viewers this morning a little bit of an update, I guess, of Phocas and your journey as CEO, but also your journey to the Central West?
Yeah. No, Phocas is an international company these days. We have offices all around the world, but we're pretty much mainly in Australia, the UK and the USA. We have some product that we sell elsewhere, but that's mainly where we are. We're in business intelligence. We're a tech company. Our competition are large companies like Microsoft or companies owned by Google and Salesforce and some of the biggest names in the business. So we have to have a niche. We have to really work and know our customer well. I came to the Central West some 20 years ago, and I'd have to say Phocas is in Orange as a result of that. We didn't sort of scour around for the best IT location and came up with Orange. We actually rebuilt Orange around the fact that I was here, but it hasn't been a hindrance to what we've had to do. It's probably been an advantage in many ways, and we've managed now to sell between $3 and $4 million worth of software per month that's built, all built here in Orange. So it's been a journey, admittedly. I run the company in conjunction with my business partner Miles Glashir, who's in the city. So it's a bit of a city country mix there with the running of it, but yeah, we build the software here locally.
Which is an outstanding, I guess, resource or example of a regional business kind of competing on the international level based right here. Now, you said you've got something like 8 offices are distributed around the world and 200 plus staff, and probably what you mentioned is a good dovetail into my next question. What would be one of the biggest challenges by having your business based here in Orange? But on the flip side, what's one of the biggest opportunities about having your business based here?
Definitely one of the challenges is finding the right talent locally, because it doesn't completely always exist here. And some of that's nothing to do with the fact that Orange isn't a fantastic place to be. It's to do with a lot of the skills that we required. People have to go away to get and go away to be part of the IT industry. It hasn't necessarily been something that you could do from the region. So bringing people back to the country, bringing people back to Orange and to the regions that have these skills has not been easy. There's a number of people who were already here when we started that had done the tree change thing or had returned home after doing careers in the cities. But that has been the hardest thing. The best thing about it has been the teams that we've built have been, very steady. If you go to a lot of the tech companies in Sydney, or you actually build tech companies in Sydney, and we've avoided having any developers in Sydney or Melbourne for this very reason, that there's a lot of movement. They're always moving around. They're always looking for another role. And so, yeah, we've had a really good, steady workforce. And what that's meant is that we've been able to build a lot of knowledge over many years, and you build a culture around the technology as well as around the business. So,
yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you've got about 60 or 70 program developers based here in Orange?
About 50 here in Orange, yeah.
And that's fantastic. So you're developing the software right here in Orange and then exporting that around the world to businesses that use it. So I guess at a high level, the software that you develop through Phocas, do you mind giving our viewers a little bit of an overview of the software and then maybe some of the businesses that might be able to use your software and some examples?
Yeah, so it's a business intelligence tool. It's all about taking data I always say data and data. I mix those up because we're an international company. If you say data in the US, everybody thinks wonders what you're talking about. But so you can tell, even from Orange, we're sort of trying to sort of internationalise ourselves. But we take that and we actually make it sort of a decision support tool for businesses. So it's all about businesses making better decisions. Typically, if you're going to use data, you usually are at least a medium-sized business. So most of our customers would be, sort of $50 million in revenue and above. We don't have a lot of smaller businesses, although, we're not precluding ourselves from small businesses, but they tend to be larger around the world, going up into the multinationals or divisions of multinationals. We've sort of carved out a niche in companies that are retail, particularly if you look around Australia, some of the large franchises or large company-run stores like Repco or these sorts of camera houses. Another one, we've got a camera house in Orange. We do the camera house Australia-wide. Those sorts of retail. Distribution, a lot of distribution, particularly in the US, and manufacturing. So they're sort of our three areas that we've focused on. Doesn't mean that we can't go into other areas. Sam was talking to me a while ago about mining, given that mining is something that we do a lot of here, and we could definitely be in anywhere where there's data, we could be there as a decision support tool, just that we've carved out our niches in those areas.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess STEM skills in your sector and your industry are absolutely vital, and you've mentioned that one of your challenges is attracting that skilled staff to the region and to your company. And those. So if there's any program developers out there and you're looking for the move to the beautiful Central West, Phocas might be the avenue that you're looking for. But as I was going to say, STEM skills are important, and it's important in mining, it's important in health, it's important in ag, which are all key pillars of our economy here, but as is tech. I guess, what would be your advice, or how would you encourage students out there who might be viewing us this morning or generally about pursuing a career, I guess, utilising STEM skills?
Yeah, look, I think this is one of my biggest passions, is that getting people involved in STEM is so important. It's important for you as an individual, because I think it actually is a fantastic career and it makes a real difference to you as a person. But it makes a massive difference also to the country, to the way that we live our lives. If you want to have an involvement in the way that people will live in the future, get involved in STEM. It's a real shame that people don't do it more. I know I've got lots of kids at that level making career decisions, and their friends, and everybody wants to be a lawyer, but Australia will never be the best country in the world because it has the best lawyers. It will be the best country in the world if it can have the best technology people, and we've got to encourage our best and brightest to do STEM, and that means we've also got to encourage our girls to do it, because that's really what we're missing out on. We're only really getting half of the brain power, and it might even be the best half of the brain power of those in that could do STEM. Women in STEM is a real problem worldwide, not just in Australia, but if we can encourage girls to do it, they are some of the best at doing it, and we really need a future shaped not just by men. The lawyers and the doctors of the world won't shape the future, but the technologists will, and they already are, and at the moment they're all men. So we need to, well, not all men, but there's a large number of them, and this is one of my passions, and if you ever want to read any more about that, girls, get on to any of the Melinda Gates books, because she is just absolutely brilliant about this.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think you're right. One of the things RDA Central West does here is the STEM School Industry Partnership Program, and you're right, one of the challenges in this classroom is once students get to a certain age, there tends to be a drop-off from STEM interest by those female students, and it's making sure that you can engage them and showing them that there are those career pathways, especially here in the Central West. And I think you tend to agree, there seems to be an innovation, entrepreneurship culture developing here in the Central West, and I think that could really become one of our next major economic drivers in this region. Do you think that's a fair comment?
Absolutely, and I think it's the people who embrace STEM and embrace technology are the ones most capable of actually building regions up, and they've done it in in other parts of the world for quite a long time. Some of the biggest regional areas in the US have been built on technology businesses. Obviously it's because of the innovation that comes with doing that allows you to do things like sell software out of Orange to the rest of the world. So innovative people mean a lot of growth in places that you would not necessarily think you'd find it.
And I think there's a lot of applications for technology that we will see in our region over the coming years. Mining with automation, the parks, logistics hub, there's going to be some real opportunities there. But I guess you've been in the software development company startups for 25 plus years. Technology is on an exponential kind of graph at the moment with change and kind of AI. But if you're a local business out there, and especially in your industry, you've got to be at the front of the curve. What advice would you have to businesses about implementing technology into their business and being able to adapt to change?
Yeah, I mean, they call it digital transformation these days, and it's like the key to actually surviving. And it's even been really, really highlighted during this coronavirus period, as people have seen, obviously, being able to use technology to continue your business. But we've seen it over a number of years, particularly amongst our customer base. Some of our customers have been around for 100 years as family businesses, big distribution businesses in the US that have been around for many years, etc. And we can see it in those customers. As soon as they embrace the technology, as soon as they do the whole digital transformation, the results are absolutely incredible. And so a reasonably profitable business that survived many years suddenly becomes a major profitable business. And some of it's taken some generational change to do that as well within the organisation. And when that happens, it's just a revolution within the business. And I don't think you can start a business now without embracing it. But those who have been around for a long time often find it hardest to do the digital transformation piece. And I think we're going to see it in agriculture a lot. It's sort of really starting to come through a lot now. A lot of them are family-run businesses too, that are starting to take that digital transformation seriously. Yeah,
absolutely. And one of the things that RDA Central West has been focusing on during the COVID scenario period has been a lot on that digital marketing, giving local businesses access to experts and information around online sales. And I think you're right, it's about adapting and making sure your business can pivot has been absolutely probably more important during this period than any other period previously. And it might have just sped up the process of that transition. And you touched on ag. I tend to agree. I think ag is going to be one of those sectors where technology and the uptake of innovation is absolutely important. Now, you yourself have a property out at between Molong and Cumnock. We're still coming through the worst periods of the drought. How's it looking out there? And give our viewers a bit of a on the ground feedback.
Yeah, it's looking beautiful. I mean, it's been a fantastic start to the season. If it keeps going, I think that everybody out there is going to benefit from it. No, it's looking really good, and the main thing I think we can do now is make sure that as we go through maybe some good seasons, which would be nice for a change, is to know how we're going to adapt our businesses, our rural businesses, to cope with droughts of the future, and certainly how we can improve them, technically as well. And there's a lot of technology coming into ag, a huge amount, and it's very exciting. And I'm trying to get as much involved in it now as I can as well. We've got a few thousand acres out there in Cumnock, and trying to embrace that technology for that business as well is something that I really want to do over the next few years.
Yeah, and I think that's a real growth opportunity, I think, for the Central West, because with DPI based here, with the health precinct in Orange here, and companies like Phocas, and we touched on it earlier, I think there is a real opportunity for innovation culture to really continue to grow and prosper here in the Central West, and we can. And Gate, based out here as well, under Carolyn James. We've got some real leaders in our region, and I think that bodes well for the future. Now, I'm just going to change tack a little bit. We're going to hit Phil with the Fast Five. It's my favourite section of every Friday morning chat. Phil, what's one of your hidden talents or hobbies?
I'm pretty good at rock trivia.
Rock trivia. Okay, I'm sports.
Rock and roll trivia.
I'm sports trivia. Okay.
Sports trivia, rock and roll trivia. We might do as good well as a team.
Yeah, we might have to go down to the Canopolis for trivia nights when that kicks back off. Favourite rock band?
Favourite rock band? Band or artist?
Artist.
I have to say. Artist is Bob Dylan by a country mile, so I'm a real Bob Dylan fan. There you go.
Yeah, yep. Now, Bob Dylan, there's probably been lots of biopics on his life, but if someone was to play you in a movie of your life, who do you think could do a good job, or who would get the gig?
Maybe Robert Downey Jr. I'm an Iron Man fan as well, so there you go. Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man.
Yeah, okay. Well, it kind of makes sense, I guess. He's the technology-based superhero. So, hidden gem of the Central West. You know, you live out between Molong and Cumnock. The region is pretty diverse. There's so many fantastic locations, but a hidden gem, it could be a person, a place, a venue. What's one that comes to mind?
Well, I'm just going to say Cumnock, which is my home little town. I remember saying we were going to some resort somewhere to someone who was one of the kids down there in Cumnock, and said, "Oh, what's at the resort?" He said, "I said, oh, there's golf and there's swimming and there's squash and there's golf that sort of thing at the resort." And he said, "I don't know why you have to go anywhere besides Cumnock, because we've got all that here, everything. We've got squash, tennis, golf, swimming, you name it." So I have to say Cumnock's a great little town. You've got to stop there, particularly if you go the back way to the zoo. Do the Animals on Bikes tour and stop in Cumnock.
Well, absolutely. Good plug there for Cumnock. And you're right, the Animals on Bikes, it's worth a trip down that back route down to the Dubbo Zoo if you've got visitors coming this way. And who needs to go on holidays? Just pencil in for your next getaway in Cumnock, because you've got everything you need. Best holiday destination or holiday activity? So it probably kind of fits in with that last question.
Yeah. Well, if I was going to go away from Cumnock, I'd probably go somewhere that does all those things. Fiji is our family place. We would like to get away and go to Fiji as often as we can. We haven't been for a couple of years, but we've been there many times and we love it.
Yeah, and look, we won't be doing much international travel. And I guess for your business, that's going to make a big change. How do you see adapting and coping with that? So we've gone back off tangent a little bit, but because you having those 8 offices and distributed around the world.
Yeah, well, we've always been distributed, so therefore, and we've spread our management team even across all those offices. So we've always used things like Zoom, and we've always been in touch using technology. We've been one of those. We did our digital transformation, as you could probably imagine, years ago, and so we've coped probably better than most. I think that, I was saying to Sam earlier, probably the area that's been hardest hit for us in that way is the development team here in Orange, because development, although it can be done, obviously, spread out, it's one of those things where you really need to be back in the office, and working collaboratively and working in a team, and you don't really want to be working from home. So they've been, really wanting to get back into the office here in Orange as much as possible. That's probably the most effect. We don't necessarily ever have to go on site to our customers anymore. No one has computers in their office, server computers in their office. It's all in the cloud. So we don't have to be anywhere. So it hasn't affected us probably as much as some.
Okay, that's and I guess it brings with it a lot of challenges. Being the CEO, I guess, of a business that's competing with multinationals in a competitive sector brings with it, as I said, lots of challenges. If you weren't the CEO of Phocas, what may have been your career path?
I think I would have been a farmer. I love the farm. It's my escape. I actually, when we first came to the Central West, having done a few startups, and I just sold a business to Microsoft in the US, and we were living in the US before we came here, and we'd done with that, and I thought I could be a farmer forever. I really enjoy it, but I mean, I think that mixing it with the business here in Orange has been a fantastic mix as well.
Yeah, that's we do. We have some of the best, I reckon, farmers' produce in this region. It's showcased when Food Week, a lot of those events, grazing the Lachlan down at Forbes. We've got a fantastic food, wine culture here, and I think it's a real opportunity for continued growth going forward. If there was a young person looking to tuning in this morning, looking to forge a career, I guess, in IT and using their IT skills, or to start a business generally, what would be a couple of your tips for viewers?
Yeah, well, I mean, getting into IT I mean, if you want to get into IT and you want to, and you don't necessarily have to be an IT specialist or a real technical person to build an IT business either. All sorts of skills can build an IT business because people can understand the application of technology without necessarily have to understand how the technology is built. If you want to get into IT, I definitely, a great way to start, that is to do it in the regions. There's some really great universities around here as well that do it. If you want to get into business, I think, even in the IT, or if into any business and embrace IT as a part of that, then, I'd definitely encourage you to do so. It's the way to build a business these days, based on the backbone of a really good technical stack.
Yeah, and you've said adapting to technology has been one of the most important lessons, I guess, for your business. I guess in IT you've got to be at the kind of the forefront, continuously pushing the boundaries. What's one of the biggest challenges of that? And I guess for local businesses, what other insights can you give them about adapting to technology?
Constant change, embracing constant change is the thing. I mean, technology and digital transformation is not something you do once. It's something that you do continuously. If you're in the IT business like we are, we have to continually change. Otherwise, we'll be eaten up by larger and more agile businesses. But I think agile is a great word. Agility and your ability to change all the time and continuously improve your technology and get that little 1% that gets you ahead of your competition is definitely worthwhile doing. It means that you'll stay in business for longer, you'll be more profitable, you'll expand in the right way. So get on the digital transformation train if you're not on it, and once you're on it, you've got to stay on it.
Yeah, it's a fair point. It's continuously improving and developing, and then you can't, if you stand still, you'll probably get left behind. Probably in your sector more than any.
Yeah, our sector more than any. I mean, we have to rewrite our software every few years. So it might be trying to do the same thing, but doing it better and doing it with newer technology that continually comes out.
Yeah, look, it's been 2020's probably been thrown up more challenges than any business or our region could have even forecast. We've had drought, bushfires, now COVID-19. What's your prediction for the remainder of 2020, I guess, firstly for Phocas, secondly for the region? How do you see what's your bold prediction for the remainder of the year?
My bold prediction is we're going to come out of it quicker than most people think. I think that because of the type of recession that we've sort of pushed ourselves into, it won't be a normal come out. It'll be much more rapid. I think we'll come out better, so it won't be business as usual. It'll be return to better rather than return to business as usual, because I think a lot of people have become a lot more savvy about how they do things. So that'll help us return, in a more innovative way, and I think that'll really drag us out. And I think that the ones that'll have the greatest differential between where they were before and where they're going will be the regions, because they've had to adapt more than anybody else. So I think it'll bear really, really well for regional Australia.
Yeah, I actually think that's a very fair comment, especially with businesses and organisations, especially, you're right, in the regions, having to adapt. It's made us realise you can work remotely, and I think that's potentially a massive, big upswing that could come our way, is businesses looking to the regions now, recalibrating the regions as an option to relocate or either distribute decentralised parts of their business enterprises to the regions, because we, as you said, we've got the lifestyle, and it's an attractive proposition for those skilled people to come, hopefully to the Central West,
yes,
but generally to other parts of regional Australia.
Absolutely.
Now, finally, just as before we wrap up for this morning's chat, if there are local businesses that want to learn more about Phocas, or interested program developers that might be tuning in, or technologists out there that are interested to learn more about Phocas, what's the easiest way they can do that this morning?
Definitely get onto our website, so phocassoftware.com. It's got a stack of resources there about how to either work for us, work with us, what sort of companies we can help improve. We'd love to do more customers in the Central West. We've got very few customers in the Central West, but those that we have got, we love them and they love us, and it's great to have some local people. So please get on there. There's plenty of resource about how we can help your business. There's user groups you can get onto. You don't have to be a user to be on a user group, so join that. we call it Pug Focus User Group, the Pug Live, and you'll see that little pug animal on there on the website. Go in there, have a look what other people are saying, how they're improving their businesses using Phocas, and how they're doing. I mean, it's all about digital transformation. I keep saying that, but that's what it is. If you're, still getting information coming through to you that's not based on real data, that's not based on live data, that's not based on digital information, then you're not actually doing as well as you could be. So get onto the website, focussoftware.com. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, look, Phil, thank you for coming in this morning. It's been eye-opening for me, and I hope for our viewers as well, just to see that there is Phocas based here in the Central West and forging a successful path in a highly competitive, highly challenging industry and competing against some of the biggest players in the world and succeeding. I think it's a great way to finish the business breakfast for this Friday. Thank you very much, and for all of our regular viewers, tune in this time next week when I sit down with Weston Ryan from PMW Plus. We're coming to the end of the financial year, so we'll be delving into some of those things our businesses and individuals need to think about. We have now been putting all of these business breakfast chats on as a podcast, so anybody that's interested, check out Podbean or iTunes and just RDA Central West podcast, and that should lead you to some of. If you want to listen back to this great chat with Phil or some of our previous guests, that's the way to do it. But until next week, have a great weekend, and thanks very much.